Welcome back to another edition of Special Situations Investing with Greg. This week I'm talking about AENZA S.A.A. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of my YouTube channel on Special Situations Investing and my personal investing practice. As a quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. Any companies that I mention in this presentation are discussed solely for illustrative purposes. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is to help educate me and educate you about certain special situations. It is not a solicitation to purchase them. I recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself prior to your committing of any funds. I also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. And then finally, may your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks a bunch for watching. Now on to the video. Welcome back, Investing Mutants. In this week's goal to pursue our goal of doing about 50% returns per year and trying to become that financial mutant or the stock market genius according to Joel Greenblatt, I'm talking about AENZA S.A.A. And AENZA S.A.A. is a construction and engineering company out of South America. In fact, they're based out of Peru, and they have a tender offer that was being offered by a third party. It's IG4 Investments. And IG4 Investments is a South American firm that looks like they do a lot of value investing and strategic capital restructuring, maybe even taking companies private. And they have expressed some interest in AENZA S.A.A. Their interest, if you read into the tender offer statement, is quite extensive, and they've been working on this deal since about 2019. It looked like it was postponed partly because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and they put a lot of their plans on hold because of that. Looks like they're finally deciding to finish this up, and they got quite a bit of support for this. They have approximately 10% of the shareholders or shares outstanding that have been pledged to support this tender offer agreement. I expect that this will go through because of all of that support, and so in that case I'm just going to dig into the details and kind of give my thoughts on it, and then you can make a decision whether or not you find this an interesting tender offer or not. The IG4 offer is for approximately 12.29% of the total shares outstanding for AENZA S.A.A. and this includes ADSs that are traded in New York. So the ADSs represent 5 shares of the normal Peruvian shares on the Peruvian Stock Exchange. The price for the ADSs, and that's what I'm going to focus on because that's, as a U.S. investor, that's the one that I have experience with. But there is a price for the Peruvian shares of 1.88 sol. And it's a similar structure for anyone that's doing the Peruvian participation in this activity. But the ADSs, you're looking at $9 or 9.4 Peruvian sol or 940 Peruvian sol, and that roughly translates to about $2.40 per ADS. With the current price hovering somewhere around $1.56 per ADS, this represents over a 50% return over the next month if all of your shares were accepted. The likelihood that that's going to happen is pretty slim in my view. I would expect that somewhere around 30% of the shares will be accepted, and that's based solely on just my observations when you have these tender offers for these larger things. Now, if you wanted to participate in the odd lot transfer, you definitely could, but we're talking about $50, and so it's not really worth it for many people that have a larger amount. But if you have a very small amount and you're interested in participating, you might look into the odd lot transfer opportunity. Some of the risks that I have observed with this is, first and foremost, that there is a currency risk between the US dollar and the Peruvian sol. And that currency risk, because I have not spent a lot of time looking at different currencies, and I don't do that trading, that's not my specialization, that always adds to me an element of additional risk that must be considered in this. So part of the reason why you might get a 54% return after buying the shares today and then tendering them is because there is an element of currency risk. The other risk is that you're not going to get all of your shares tendered likely in this tender offer. I would expect that approximately 30% of the shares will probably be accepted in the tender offer, and of those 30, if that 30% share repurchase is accomplished by IG4, and then you go ahead and have a stable share price, then you're expecting to have around a 16% return over that time. So with that in mind, that means that it may not be as good as, hey, we're getting 54%. So don't expect that to be the return over the next couple of weeks. AENZA S.A.A. is an infrastructure company, and the likelihood that you'll probably be stuck with shares after this is pretty high in my view. And so if you don't want to be a longer term investor, this may not be a tender offer for you. You can sell out afterwards, but my previous experience with a South American firm, I got into Enel Americas, and I still have my shares in Enel Americas that were given to me after the tender offer went through. With Enel Americas, I had 38% of my shares accepted, and then the share price dropped. And so I'm basically breaking even right now, but it's not like I have any type of great returns that are coming out of it. So something to pay attention to with this is it could be the same situation where I kind of get into this, I have my shares stuck in there, and then I'm not able to get them out at a price that I find attractive. With that in mind, you might also consider that AENZA will be something that IG4 has spent a significant amount of time on, and it looks like they're intending to spend a significant amount of time on this over the next several years. They've spent 2 years getting prepared for this transaction. They're expecting to put members on the board after the transaction, and they, in the negotiations, and if you dig into the tender offer statement, into the negotiations, it looks like they will have an opportunity to vote almost 25% of the shares outstanding. So these guys are in it for the long haul, and they have done a lot in order to make sure that they have some sort of control over the company. And I expect that this might be an interesting play over the longer term as well. So anyway, those are my thoughts on AENZA. In full disclosure, I am invested in this one. I do have a full position, which means that I have at least 10% of my portfolio in this company. And we'll see how it turns out. If you decide to participate in this, or if you have any comments about the AENZA tender offer, please go ahead and post them below. I would appreciate anything that you have on this, any ideas that you have, because your comments have continued to make me a better investor over time. So thanks a bunch for all your support, and we'll see you next week.